Whether you're working on a group project, speaking up in class, networking, or doing an interview, strong communication skills can completely change the game. But let's be real, communicating confidently doesn't come easily for everyone, especially if you're an introvert or you're super shy and awkward in social settings like me. I'm an introvert myself and I struggled with this all my life, but over time, I picked up some tips and techniques that help me communicate confidently in group settings, interviews, or like networking events. So in this video, I'm going to share them with you so you can communicate confidently in these situations as well. I know how intimidating it can be to put your hand up and participate in class discussions. When you speak, everyone turns around and looks at you, and that kind of gets super socially awkward and nerve-wracking. So if you're like that and you don't like doing that, here's my tip for you. Instead of participating in class discussions, take the opportunity to make yourself heard and visible in smaller group discussions. For us, class discussions are hard, but when you get the opportunity to work in groups, right, like work in tables with the people beside you, contribute and actually make a meaningful impression on those people so you can actually stand out in the class. Because if you don't talk in class at all, like you don't talk in class discussions and you don't talk in group discussions, then no one's going to know about you, no one's going to think that you're smart or able to contribute to a group. And when you have to work in groups, in group projects or anything like that, you're not going to have anyone good to work with. So if you participate in group discussions, those people will think, oh, that person's smart, let's try to work with them in a group or something like that. And by doing that, like I did this in university myself, I was able to get good groups in many group projects in university, and that helped me get good grades in school. Now in group discussions, I know that many of us feel like sometimes no one's listening to us, or even if they're trying, they just don't understand what we're trying to say. And if you feel this way, one thing I want you to keep in mind is to make sure you speak clearly and concisely. Like I see so many people try to ask a question or explain something, but their question or their explanation is like 3 minutes long. And when you spend so many words, when you say so much to try to explain one point, it gets really confusing and hard to keep up with for the listener. And that can be a reason why many people sometimes find it hard to listen to you or understand what you're saying in the first place. So to overcome this, what I want you to do is to think before you speak, right? Before you want to say something, think about what you're going to say, think about how you're going to phrase it, and be clear and concise in the way you do it. And if you can do that, and if you can practice over time, I can promise you, you're going to find that more people are listening to you and more people are understanding what you're trying to express in discussions. Now, shifting topics, let's talk about networking. One of the hardest things about networking is you have to talk to people. And as much as we hate it, it's just something that we have to do. If you don't network, you'll end up missing a lot of good opportunities. So what I want you to remember is that networking is actually one of the most easiest social settings to be in. The people you're networking with have been in your position before. They know how hard it is to land a job. They know how hard it is to get an internship. So they're willing to help, and that's why they're here in the first place. They've made their effort to come from this end and come halfway to meet you, right? All you gotta do is come from your side and meet them so that you can strike up a conversation and try to make an impression with them. As you get older and older, the less people care about you and the more mature they become. So honestly, people won't actually mind and they will be able to understand that you're just trying to get ahead in life, you're just trying to get a job or internship. So just shoot your shot, there's nothing you're gonna lose. A smaller tip I wanna add to this is that if you're trying to connect with someone that's like super high up in a position, instead of trying to connect with them, connect with someone below them. Like if say you're trying to connect with a professor to do research or something, instead of trying to connect with the professor, because they're gonna get hundreds of emails every single day, they're gonna get super busy, they're not gonna really care about you, try to connect with a PhD student because they're gonna be able to check their emails more often, they're gonna be able to have more time to network with you. And after you connect with them, you can use them as a stepping stone to connect with the professor. And this is very similar to the concept of warm emails. Instead of writing a cold email as a complete stranger, you're writing a warm email, leveraging a mutual connection to make the chances of you connecting with this person and networking with this person more successful. Staying on the topic of networking, my last tip is to be authentic. Like I know for most of us, something simple as being like, hi, my name's Nicklin, can be so awkward and anxiety inducing. And to overcome that, we decided, okay, you know what? I want to make sure that I do this so perfectly. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna practice saying, hi, my name is 100 times, right? But when we do that, what actually ends up happening is when we have the actual conversation itself, it ends up appearing so scripted and so robotic that it doesn't come off as authentic and the other person doesn't end up remembering you. So what I'm trying to say is be yourself, be authentic, and even if you make mistakes, that's okay because you will have a better chance of the other person remembering you if you do it this way. And to add on to this concept of being authentic, what I want to say is that there's no right way to network or do an interview. Every person you're trying to network with or trying to interview you is going to have something specific that they're looking for. But you never know what that thing is. And so instead of trying to fit this mold or trying to fit this image of what the ideal candidate should look like, just be yourself. And if they like you for who you are, then you'll get the position or you'll be able to establish a meeting or connection with them. During the interview that got me the current internship, they asked questions about like, okay, what leadership skills do you have? What communication skills do you have? And honestly, I could have been like, oh, I work in group projects, I'm part of this team and stuff like that. But I decided that, you know what? Leadership, I'm gonna talk about soccer coach. Communication, I'm gonna talk about YouTube. And because I just stuck true to myself, right? I try to showcase my true interests, who I really am, what I really care about. I personally felt like that left the interviewers more impressed, and that ended up getting me the position that I'm working in right now. So all I'm trying to say is be authentic, be yourself, so that way people who value that authenticity, people who value you for who you are, will be attracted to you and recruit you on their team or decide to connect with you or network with you. Not everyone is going to appreciate who you are, but let's be ourselves and connect with people who appreciate us for who we are, because that's the type of people that we want to work with. In my personal opinion, the concepts I talked about in this video kind of fit in this larger picture of how to be a confident communicator. And if you're a person who struggles to communicate confidently, maybe you're an introvert, maybe you're just socially awkward and get anxious all the time, then what I want you to do is scroll down to the comments. And in my pinned comment, you're going to see a link that's going to take you to an in-depth video about how to confidently communicate and overcome the emotions and the internal barriers you face in social settings. I promise you that video is going to be so useful for you. I spent a lot of time on it, so make sure to check that out. With that being said, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.